Yeah, we couldn't agree more. Ethan, I'll toss it to you. Just for this first segment, we're kind of going to talk about Stephon's season. Is there anything, kind of on your mind in regards to Stephon you wanted to pick Lou's brain on?
Dude, you're a prophet, my guy. That's really all I have to say. I mean, we were so skeptical. Well, skeptical is the wrong word, but we were like a little doubtful because we were like,
Absolutely.
Reece Sachet is the guy everyone has as the number one prospect, and you were the first person, at least amongst my group of people, that was telling me, no, Stephon Castle's the one. You run to the podium, I think was your actual quote, if he's available at
Absolutely.
4. And that just that came to fruition. Do you think long term, are you as confident in his ability to be like all-star potential level, shooting guard? Because Jude and I have images of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander when we watch him play. Do you see any of those kind of comps?
The so it's always tough to get to all-star level. Like
Hmm.
I want people to understand how difficult, first of all, it is to get to all-star level. Somebody who's, everybody would think of it as an all-star is Trae Young, and he barely snuck in and made it,
True.
basically got snubbed 2 years in a row. So I think it's a tough benchmark to hit. Do I think he has the potential to get there? Yes. Like I did last year. I don't think anything has changed.
Mm.
Um, in terms of realistically, do I think he's going to get there? I doubt it, just because it's so hard. It's not a knock on him, but I mean, the shades of SGA, like that's the high end ceiling. I still see somebody who's really, really impactful. Obviously, you guys, especially once Wemby got hurt, the season kind of got derailed a little bit. But I think he's somebody who helps you win basketball games. I mean, I'm sticking to it. My comp to him last year was Josh Hart. Like
Mm.
at the minimum, you're going to get like a Josh Hart level intensity player. Obviously, they have some differences, but just in terms of um, in these playoffs, it is just so hammered with guards who can play up, guards who are versatile, guards who can defend, who can rebound, who can pass, who can facilitate, who can drive. That's what
Mm.
Stephon Castle's game is. Obviously, the shooting is something you'd like to see improve, but it's not the end all be all, because he just does so many things. So I mean, SGA, shit, I wish, man. Like if he turns into SGA, I'd be through the fucking roof. Oh, my bad.
You're
I'd be
good.
through the
You're
roof,
good. You're
man.
good.
No, absolutely. And I think, what Ethan's kind of referring to there is when you look at his decel game and, how he
Oh,
can contort himself around the basket. That's where we really see, like, we talked about it at multiple points this season. It almost is like a jacked SGA, in that kind of circumstance.
Hmm.
Um, but even with that being said, man, you touched on his shooting a little bit there. I'm not sure how much you got to see kind of at the beginning, or excuse me, at the end of the season. But there was kind of a stretch at the end of the year. The percentage wasn't crazy, and I can't remember the exact number of games it was, but it was obviously in that stretch, not just post the Wemby injury, but also post De'Aaron Fox getting shut down as well, where he was taking 6 threes a game. I think it was like in the last 16 games of the season, something like that. I could be off there. Y'all can correct me in the comments, where he was taking 6 threes a game and shot 30%. And, as much as that's nothing crazy, I really felt like, especially eye test wise, and I think Ethan would agree with this.
Hmm.
And, part of this is he just got more opportunities. When he gets less opportunities, is he going to be, as consistent? Will those numbers decrease with less shots? Right. But I really feel like his form improved at the end of the season. Like when it was really kind of all on him at the end of the year. You saw a couple games where he went on heaters and, was even shooting like some deep range threes, and it looked smooth and it was a swish, it's kind of reminded me of last year. We talked about him at the combine and how there was some promise there with some of the numbers. And even there was a recent video that was released kind of showing him, standing forwards and then like turning around backwards, having his
Hmm.
feet set
yep.
and shooting threes. Anyways, all of that being said, long story short, what were your thoughts on the progression in his shot that you saw this season, or did you even see any progression? Like, what were your thoughts on his jump shot this year and
I
how it
mean,
turned out?
obviously, ending the season shooting sub 30% from three is a worrisome thing. Like it's not here to get sugarcoated, but I do think, um, just in general, the way his shot looks, like he shot over 72% at the free throw line. So I think that projects well long term. Per synergy, he shot almost 35% on open threes. So a lot of the misses just came off of dribble jump shots, which, it shouldn't be like that's hard to do, period, let alone for a rookie, let alone for a rookie who came in with a little bit of like, question marks around his shot. Everybody always likes to joke, like if you like a player, you think the shot's going to improve. But I mean, truthfully, I do think his shot can improve. I mean, he showed glimpses, like you said, but I think the biggest takeaway is once the shot quality for him is just a little bit better with 1-2 years under training. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys saw like the recent interview that they had where Danny Green was talking about how Kawhi did not know how to shoot the ball. Like, what better place to go to than the Spurs? Like, you guys, have had a history of developing a so-so to bad shooter to a legitimate sniper in Kawhi Leonard throughout his career with the Spurs. Like, you take a chance on that guy. And just to like answer your question, absolutely, I think his shooting is going to improve. I would put a lot of money to say he will never shoot under 30% again in his career from three. Like, I just don't see that happening again. Is he ever going to get up to 38, 39 on volume? Maybe not, honestly, but he does so many other things that I don't want it just to be about the jump shot. I mean, we're watching Andrew Nemhard shoot 29% from three in the regular season, and shit, come playoff time, this man does not miss.
Right.
So, like, and ultimately, I think that's why you guys drafted Stephon Castle. Like, the regular season stuff is going to take his lumps, but when it's time to win those final 16 games, he's going to show up, and I have no fucking question in my mind because he did it at UConn. Yeah. As a freshman, as an 18-year-old freshman playing for Dan Hurley, that does not happen overnight, man.
Anything else on Steph, Ethan? Yeah.
I have one more question that kind of will lead us into the next topic, Jude, but we saw it at UConn. Do you think in the NBA he has the ability to play not just point guard, but shooting guard, even small forward moving forward?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't value him as a point guard last year. I thought that the nonsense about, first of all, I think he didn't want to go to Charlotte. Like, I'm gonna be very honest. Like, I think that was, and I don't fucking blame him, to be honest. But like, I do think some of that played into his, like, I'm only gonna play point guard. Like, don't take me if you, it's probably agent speak. Like, he probably knew he wanted to go to San Antonio. He just couldn't come out publicly and say it.
Yeah.
So I do think that he can play wing. That's all he played at UConn. He was strictly a wing. He was never on ball. Like, it was very few glimpses. They were there, and the self-creation was there. The ability to play make was there in flashes. But I mean, I don't think he did a bad job playmaking for you guys this year. Obviously, maybe a little bit too many turnovers and stuff of that nature, but the rim pressure is evident with him on ball. So it's just, like, he's 6'6". Yes, he can guard twos. Yes, he can guard threes. He's stocky. He can guard some fours, especially in today's league. Like, I don't think, positions don't really matter in today's NBA. I think it's one of the most, like, it's a tough talking point because at the end of the day, you have initiators, you have wings, and you have bigs. Like, play them wherever. And I think Stephon Castle is, he's a wing / combo guard who maybe can be an initiator from time to time, but you guys had the season to allow him to develop. Maybe next season he develops a little bit more. Who knows? But, now you got De'Aaron Fox. There's no rush for it is my point. Like, but he could absolutely play wing. Like, if Stephon Castle was your starting small forward next season, you should be happy. Like, you shouldn't be upset. If he was your starting shooting guard, I think you should be happy too. You shouldn't be upset. If he's on your team, I think you should be happy. You shouldn't be upset. Like, it's you could be the Heat. Like, shit could be really bad. So,
hey, y'all got Khalil Ware. I think he deserved the third place in Rookie of the Year, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, Khalil was great, but we have our front office is senile at this point, so it's okay.
I feel you in another one of my favorite sports. No, the Saints. I'm a Saints fan.
Oh, so God, you have an idea.
I do have an idea. Trust.
Cowboys. I guess too.
Just a little fun sidetrack. By the way, if the Heat didn't make the playoffs, we were supposed to get the Mavs pick, which ended up being Cooper Flagg. And the ironic part is everybody's like, oh, whatever. If the Heat, it wasn't going to happen. For majority of the second half of the season, we were in 8th. We had y'all's lottery odds. So we could have got him or Dylan Harper. And instead, we're going to be picking like Noah Penda or something. Like, it's going to be a tough day for us as Heat fans. Poor Bam. Hey, with number 2, I'm just saying, Bam might be on the trading block.
Hey, now, that's not a name I would pass up lightly, Mr. Jude.
I'm with you there, Ethan. Okay, one more question on Steph, because I just got to ask you this. And when you brought up his rim pressure point, we talked about the decel, how he can contort himself around the basket, and just him driving to the rim and what that does for teams' offenses. I'm sure you probably saw the nickname that started floating around in San Antonio this year, Area 51, with him and Victor on the court together. What are your thoughts on just their pairing and kind of how Wemby, with his shooting progression, if it continues to go the way that it does, on top of all of his other skills, how can they kind of play off of each other? What's your view of that from an outsider's perspective?
I mean, defensively, I don't really have too many question marks. A lot of it comes down offensively to, again, how much can Wemby improve the outside shot to create space for Stephon, and how much can Stephon put pressure on teams to close out to create space for himself. I don't have an it like I was looking at the on-off numbers. Like Stephon by himself was not good, as most of the Spurs were, but as soon as you took Wemby in or out, like they were positive with Wemby on the floor. Like they were plus 1.9, I think it was, when I saw like 60 something percentile. Like they were a good team. Obviously not a contender by any stretch of the imagination yet, but you didn't expect to be anyways. Like this is a forward thinking, and I do think that pairing is ultimately is good enough to. I'm not saying Stephon should be your 2 or Stephon should even be your 3. Like you should want 5 great basketball players playing at all times. I think that's the winning formula. But I think he definitely fits into one of those 5 guys who can help you win a championship.